Hey, this is me and Cece. This is the second time I've recorded this, so I have no idea where the first one went. The first one just cut off at 10 seconds, and then the rest of it just disappeared. So, yeah, wow. So this is like my least favorite part of probably the whole class because I feel very much like I'm out of my element. I don't know a lot about the internet and search engines, though I have used them a lot. But I do feel like I need to cover just a few things, point them out, just in case you haven't been exposed to them. So that's what this is. So this is like the most embarrassing slide to me because I'm not even sure if it's accurate, but I'm just going to jump in. So what you should know about search engines is that the algorithms that they use, the search is proprietary. So you can't discover that, and they change all the time. So not everything is searched on the internet. So just know that there is content that is not going to be recovered by a search engine, even if you had the perfect search. And there are several reasons for that. You should also know that your search history is discoverable, and what that means is that someone could subpoena to get that information. So it's very difficult. Even if you delete it, it's always there, and it can be discovered in a court for various reasons. Uh, and your search results are going to be different from your patron and your other librarians. So sometimes if we're not able to find something, it is a good idea to ask another librarian to do it. And that's because they take into account your IP address, so they're looking at your search habits. I think we discovered that this was the case. I long suspected it, and then it did come out in like the aughts, that actually, maybe before then, um, that they were taking the IP address into account. So that's one of the reasons that you will get different results from your neighbor, from your fellow librarian, and also from the patron. And you are a search professional, so you are using those search engines probably for research. If it's your work computer, it's going to be fine-tuned. You're going to get results. So don't take it out on the patron or think that they're stupid if you keep running searches and the first hit, the first result is the answer, because they are not getting the same results. They may use their computer to shop or to search for other things, and I don't really know how this works now that um, we are all using Wi-Fi, and our IP addresses are not. I don't really understand that, so I'm not even going to go there. But all this stuff is changing. You guys probably know more about it. It's just something to know. It is much more difficult now than it was in the beginning of the internet, or not even the beginning of search engines. So you could find a lot more content. If you had, typically, if you had three pieces of information about someone or something, you could find them. You could find a lot of personal information. Image searching is just not the same. I can barely find a photo of myself on the internet. It used to be much better, and I don't know what happened, but something happened. Maybe there's just more content. I don't know. And then the stuff on the right, deep web. So like deep web searching, the dark web. I don't know anything about that except to know that what a lot of times the reason you can't find things are just because it's behind a paywall. So I never, like, nobody expects you to go like to the dark web, like use Tor. Nobody expects you to go there. Um, I, people do expect you to do certain things, and it's up to you to know what, do I feel comfortable doing that? A lot of times, in order to search a site, to get into what's the restricted content, that material won't be indexed by the search engine. So you'll have to register to get into that content and then search it. And you may not feel comfortable putting all of your information out there, even your work information, but just know that something that I struggle with. Sometimes it's just easier to register, but then you get a lot of spam. So, it's a problem. There's a lot of censorship, a lot of topics, just you will not find information, and people will be like, why am I not finding this information? Well, it's because it's a topic that is censored by the search engines. A lot of like hate groups and things like that. You can find information on them, but you will have to go to the hate group sites. And, I don't know if you want to do that. Or conspiracy theory sites sometimes have information. But typically you will have to register. Not always, but sometimes. And then there's metadata issues, and that not everything has really good metadata on it, so it's just not findable. Want me to give me the cat? Okay. Oh, yeah, we can't have cat and dog. No, not at the same time. Okay, I'm almost finished with this part. This is Rowan.
So guys, this is Power Rangers Kitten.
Yeah, okay. Also remember that not everything is on the internet. A lot gets removed from the internet. There are like reputation, like you can get things removed. And now that we have the laws in Europe where you have the right to be forgotten, you can have things removed. The Internet Archive does keep things, but it doesn't typically keep levels of content. So one thing I'm working on, there are ways that can be done to preserve blogs and things like that. I'm working on an article right now with a colleague about preservation of financial blogs. We think the content is richest in the comments, but the comments right now are not being preserved. And that's one thing that, it's kind of doesn't fall under the Internet Archive. They just don't do that right now. But that said, there is a lot that would be lost if not for the Internet Archive. So it's a very good thing. I use it all the time. And also be aware of implicit bias of search engines. That is just a known fact now. We're probably more aware of it as librarians than anybody else. That is the end of this, and hopefully this recorded.